could, whatever you do. So that guy, started to prepare. It was thick,
My man.
Yeah, so I took some shots. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it was nice. I was enjoying it, to be honest. I don't want to lie.
Happy people, welcome to another episode of Jen Talks Diaries. Well, of course, this is your all-time favorite Blessed Sia, and these are our candid conversations. So today in studio, I've got one of the incredible gentlemen I've ever met in my life. This guy actually impacted me so much. Well, but you will get to hear why, and why I admire him so much. And however it is, I hope you are good and you are great, you are smiling wherever you are, and I hope you are ready just to come and sit down and chillax and let us have these candid conversations. Well, without any waste of time, I have here with me a great gentleman. He is amazing. He's one of the individuals that, being in university and studying, in Russia and stuff, and he's one guy that constantly always reminded me of the purpose of living and why should we do certain things and the impact that it actually gives. But let me just not waste time and let me just introduce. No, actually, he'll introduce himself. Let me not introduce him before I will spill all the beans. But anyways, you can introduce yourself, sir. Tell us maybe your name and where you're coming from, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, thank you, Sia, for this opportunity. My name is Kulani Sitole. Yeah, I'm coming to that one. My name is Kulani Sitole from South Africa, Mpumalanga, Bushbuckridge, Role. So Role is a village that I'm coming from. Yes, so nice. I recently graduated. Maybe you can call me a doctor.
Hey!
But even if you can call me Kulani, it's okay.
Awesome. Hey guys, give it up for the guy. He's a doctor. I remember in the first episode I promised you guys that I am bringing the best of the best for you. So far in all our guests are actually doctors, so that must mean something for the podcast. But anyways, so today I want us to actually talk about something that is very particular in our black community and our black society. It's that we get to have instances whereby us being young people and growing up, there is a gap that sort of somehow needs to be bridged between being young, being a young person, not being young actually, being young as if like a baby kind of age and stuff, and to where we are today. There's a lot of things that were happening along the way, and a lot of things, certain things and certain decisions has led us to where we are today and so forth. So I want us to speak about maybe childhood decisions or childhood damage and stuff. Maybe you can just give us a Kulani growing up, like in Bushbuckridge, being a young person and so forth. How was that like for you?
Well, growing up, it is something which was very interesting. When I look back and think of the things that happened when I was still young up until today, well, I can say that there was sort of a growth in my life. So I grew up in a Christian family, going to church. You see, sometimes when you are still young, they're just taking you to church. You'll be going there to be something that you're used to. And then I think my life started to be interesting the time I went to high school. And that's the period where puberty kicked in. So I remember it was 2010 when I went to high school. I was in grade 8. And when you got there, like I've seen things that I've never seen before as a young man. So I started to be curious, wanting to know and understand. Actually, what is it that is going on now? But so I remember there was this other group of people. You know, they were older than us. I know those guys, they were not really passing. So they used to stay like in the toilet, smoking and doing all those things. So I didn't know when I got to that. There was this other guy who was actually my brother. And then I found out when I got that, oh man, this guy is my brother. I was like, okay, fine. So he introduced me to his friends, you know, because they were that group that stays in the toilet, and sometimes they used to bully people there and there. So as for me, it was an advantage. So they got to know me. So each and every time, whenever I wanted to go and stay, that's that I could go and stay. So I used to go there with my friend, you know, seeing them like smoking, and it was interesting. I was like, wow, okay, maybe we can try something. Okay. But from the first, they used to like chase us. Or like, no, you guys are still young, go back to class. Sometimes we'll bunk classes and go and stay with them, but they would be chasing us. Was at least they were like trying so that we shouldn't be like them, but it was not really working because it was sort of interesting thing. So getting or being introduced to such kind of thing, you know, there's a time where a particular desire starts to develop, you know, when you like stay in a particular place for a very long period of time, seeing people doing things repeatedly, you get to that point of like, man, maybe I should like try, you know, and see what will happen. So okay, right, 2010 not went by, and then comes 2011. You see, I will call that year the year of experience. Okay. I would say that there are a lot of things that happened in 2011, and in a very short space of time, I think like the experiences that I had, no, they were too much. They were too much, and that's when puberty came in, and then you get to that point where you think like you knows better than your elders. Sometimes they're trying to advise you, you're not listening, they're telling you not to do this, and they're like, okay, fine, I'm not going to do it in their presence. But then when they leave, that's when you start to do some certain things. So being with my friend, you know, I was curious seeing those guys like smoking and all those things. So I remember this other day, I told my friend, I was like, you know what, man, why don't we try what they're doing? Okay. And then that friend of mine was like, okay, cool, man, we can give it a try. Not knowing that he started before me. So he was not telling me that, you know what, but I'm also doing this stuff. So this Saturday we're like, okay, fine, after school. And I remember I'm the one who told them like, let's just go and try this thing. Okay. And then after school we went home, changed our uniform, and then we went to this particular place, and then we got some stuff. We went to the bushes.
and the stuff, was it like cigarettes or dacha?
It was dacha. Yeah, it was dacha. So and then we took the dacha, and you know, it was my first time.
For those who doesn't know what dacha is, it's actually weed. It's weed, yeah.
So it was my first time, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever you do. So that guy, you know, started to prepare. It was thick, you know.
Moment.
Yeah. So I took some shots, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it was nice. I was enjoying it, to be honest. I don't want to lie. I was really enjoying, and then it got to the point that. And the guy was even playing music. After that, you know, I could hear some sound.
Tell me about it.
Then we started to laugh. I remember, you know, I felt like it was heaven on earth.
Moment. Bob Marley.
Yeah. So, and then after that we tried cigarette, and I was like, no, I'm not enjoying cigarette because it doesn't do anything. I want something, you know, that will make me to be high and all those things. So each and every time, like time after time, we'll go and get it and do it just like that. And then there was a time where I don't know how did my parents know about it, but they asked me like, no, we heard that you're doing this. I was like, me? Because, you know, I was not like that before. Okay. And then I tried to, I was like, no, that's not, maybe that's a lie. Or maybe they've seen my friends. You know, and sometimes, you know, when you're young, you don't like think proper. Let me just put it like that. Don't think properly, because if I say it's my friend, there are chances that if my friends were doing that, even me, I'm part of it. So, but I was just trying like to escape, and then at the end, I'm like, okay, no, it's fine. They didn't do anything about it, and then it went by. You know, we started to involve ourselves in different things as young people who like wanted to find out actually what's going on in life. And then some of the things I'll not just mention them.
Of course.
I'm feeling ashamed. But you know, it was not like it was not that smooth. So and then that was the same year that I was very close to my cousin, and that cousin of mine, you know, he was living his own life.
That's the story.
Yeah.
That's the story. That's the story I want.
Yeah, but I think like I'm not going to give too much details. I don't want to be in trouble because of some certain things that happened some time ago. So I started to be a bit closer to him, because I remember the first time that he called me, because he loved me so much, and then it was like he gave me sort of a work, and then he paid me after that. I was with my friend. I was like, wow, I think it was 30 rands, which is maybe equivalent to 150 rubles. Let me just put like that. Yes, 150 rubles. I was with my friend. We were so excited. I was like, wow, there's a man. Okay, cool. And then
what kind of work was it? Was it like maybe
just cleaning? Yeah, it was just cleaning. Okay. So this the second time he called me, I was like, no, can you come here with your friend? I was like, okay, cool. We went, and then he put us in one of his room. There was a car engine, and then he said, guys, I want you to disassemble this engine. We're like, okay, no, it's okay. We never had a problem with that, because what we wanted at the end of the day is money. All right. And then he left. We started doing that and all those things, disassembled, and then we finished with that work. And one thing is that he did not buy that engine, so there was a time where it was like even dealing with some car hijacking and all those things. So we did that, and then we finished, and then he gave us money. We were excited. So that's how he trapped me. So I started to be more interested in staying with him, and my parents would tell me, hey, do not stay with this person, because you find yourself being in trouble. I was like, no, don't worry, because you think like he knows better and all those things. They were like, okay, no, it's fine. So okay, and then it went by from that changing the disassembling the engines and all those things, just developing time after time. You know, see that okay, there are things that this person is doing. At some point I was afraid that, hey, what if the police come? What will happen with my life and all those? I was thinking of that. But sometimes I'm like, it's okay, okay. If he's here, then I'm fine. I went, okay. And then this other time we just come with some certain cars of like, okay guys, here's a work, disassemble this car.
So by that time, sorry to cut you in, by that time, did you know that actually this stuff were probably gotten like in an illegal manner? Or
of course. He was not working. He was not. Everyone knew, like everyone from my place, and people were afraid of him. They were, and that's for me. I think this staying with him, it made me like to have sort of boldness, let me put it like that. There was a point where I was like fearless, and it helped me, because even today, like I fear nothing. Let me put it like that. So because staying with him, it made me like to come to that point where okay, fine, these people are afraid of him, and they know that, you know, we are relatives, then I'm okay. I'm the boss. I'm the big man. And I knew that no one was going to do anything to me because of him. So okay, we did that, and then but there was some times where I would think, well, because I remember this other time, this was very interesting. And then he called me. I went to his place. I think it was around 8, but it was dark. It was around 8, and then he said to me I should put some stuff in his car, and then we started to take, you know, there were like tools to work with.
Normal tools like your jack, your spanners, or anything.
Like tools, and that I forgot the name of this thing. We call it makamisa.
The one for the chains and stuff.
I used to cut chains and those stuffs. And then I realized that it seems like here things will be worse. And then we did put the stuff in the car, because he wanted to go with me that night. And then I was like, okay, no problem. We put some stuff. Then I waited, and then he entered into his room. Then I ran away. I switched off my phone.
My man. This guy is he's telling scary stories. So at this time you were still in high school.
I was in high school and I was 15 years old.
Sure.
Yeah, that was
okay.
I was in grade 9. Yeah, I'm telling you stories that happened in grade 9.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think he tried to call me, couldn't find me, and then he left. He continued with his business,
the mission.
business of the day. Yes, and then so that was this other time, and then I went to him with my friends. I think we were 3, and then we said to him, "You should borrow us a car," and he was like, "No problem," because I started to drive when I was still in primary. I think I started to learn at the age of 12 and then 13. Yeah, that's what I was.
Okay.
Yes. So, and then when I was, it was 15. That's when I went to him with my friends. Like, no, you can borrow us. He was like, okay, no problem. And he gave that car, he did not get it in the right way.
Oh,
and he gave it to us. And we didn't have, we're not thinking, like when you're still young, I don't know what is it that is going on in the mind, but you don't. You only think of the good part, or like the enjoyment that you're going to have.
Of course.
And then we took it with my friends. We went around to play and all those things, and then we came back. Yeah.
Now I want to know, at that moment, like being in the car and stuff, now driving. In your, probably because in my experience, that was it. Once you are in the car and stuff, it's just impression, man. You want to see the hottest girl in the street. You want to make sure that they see you. Was it also that kind of a vibe, so you guys were just driving, minding your own business?
No, like we just wanted the thing, like that people may see us, that we are doing it, but it was not like much for the girls. It was that thing that you guys, you need to know that
yeah, we the man. We the boys.
These are the things that I think even if my parents can hear, they will be amazed. I've never told them of these stories. So fast forward, then we returned the car. So there was this other time, because I didn't have a driver's license. I was not even qualifying to get driver's license, but I was a good driver by then. So, and then there was this other time we took one of his car. I was driving Cressida. I don't know if you know Cressida.
Yeah, so I remember very well.
And then I think we were 4 with other friends of mine. We just going somewhere, and then we saw the police. And
my man.
We decided to stop, and then as they were approaching, my guy, we just left the car and started to run. Yeah, I remember jumping the fence, entered to other guys' field, and we were running, my guy, all of us, because we are afraid. We are afraid that we didn't have driver's license, and we didn't know maybe what else was in that car.
What else was in the car? And the car was not
I remember when I was running, so there was this other lady who knew my father. I think they grew up together. And then she saw me running, and she was shouting. She was like, "Yeah, if your father can see you doing this, going to kill you." And then, so it happened that I think one of the policemen was driving that car, knew my cousin, and then he called me that, "Hey, your boys just ran and left the car here." So then he went to take the car and all those things. So and then went back. He was angry, but didn't do anything to us.
Of course,
So and then moving from that, as they were telling me at home that don't stay with this guy, and I was just pushing, staying with him. And then another thing that we're even drinking, not only smoking.
Of course.
We were even drinking with my friends. Each and every time when you get some sense, by then we didn't have money. We didn't have money at all. But then when you get some sense, that you meet with the guys and see what we buy 1 or 2, and then we just plug in, and then the next thing it boosts some confidence. I remember after being like a plug-in, and you would sometimes even pursue some ladies, because there's
of course, man,
so that's how it was. So we moved from that day, as time went by, you know, I
Yeah.
would see that okay, it seems like things are I would say okay, the guy is becoming more in what he's doing, and at the end of the day we can find ourselves being troubled. Let me tell you this story that happened. That's when I started to fear that guy a lot.
I mean, you're a good storyteller. Shucks. It's like I'm in that. I was with you. It's like I was just there with you.
So there was this other time, the guy called me. He was like, let us go to this particular place. I think it was Saturday or Sunday, I forgot. And then I was the one driving, and he was sitting at the back, you know, drinking. So I was sort of like his driver.
Of course,
And
yeah.
then as we were approaching this other particular place, there were police like searching, but there were not a lot. I think there were 3 or 4, if I'm not mistaken. And then I saw them. I stopped, and when I stopped, I was like, no, the police come and drive, because I didn't have driver's license. And then we exchanged, and then as he was passing by, they stopped him. They started to search. They found that he was drinking, and then they put him in that pickup truck. Those guys didn't know him. Like most of the police from the local police stations, they knew him very well. And then so those guys were like the volunteers. They were new. They didn't know him and all those. They put him in the truck, and I was like, just leave them. I was like, okay. Then I called his wife. I was like, hey, there's something that happened. And the wife was like, okay, since they said they want like, if they find you driving and drinking, you can pay like a particular amount, and then they leave you. Not a bribe. This one you can just pay. They will record it and take it to the police station. So the guy was like, no, I'm not paying any money. You can take me to the station. And then I told his wife, and his wife was like, okay, come with the police. She was working this particular place, and then I took the police to that place. I was like, no, I was talking to his wife. He said they should come, we'll get the money. So they were like, okay, it's fine. We drove to that place, and the wife gave them just like 200 rands, right? And then we drove back. We went to the place where the car was, and then they released him, and they left. So as we're going to the place where we wanted, the guy was like, Kulani, how much did you pay that guy? I was like, no, we didn't pay anything. He got angry.
Are you for real?
Yeah, he was like, how much did you pay the guy? I was like, we gave him 200. I was like, now we're going to the police station. I want my money.
The same guy.
The same guy. And I was like, okay, fine. If you're going to police station, I'm not going with you. I was like, there's no way you're going. We're going together. My guy, I was scared. That day. He drove me, went to the police station, and then when they entered the police station, we found the guy that was like, what's the station commander?
Yeah.
And then, they called the station commander, and then he said, I was driving and drinking. So one of your boys took my 200. I want my money back.
Oh no.
And the guy was like, okay, which one was that? And then he told them, and then it was like, okay, wait. And the guy like was giving us some attitude, the one who took the money when we entered the police station.
Yeah.
The station commander called him, and then they went outside to talk. When he came back, he was now humbled.
So you went to talk with the station commander inside.
Yes, you went to talk with the station commander, like that police and the station commander. I don't know, maybe he was telling him about the guy. And when he came back now, he was humbled.
Hey,
so
my man.
I was like, okay, cool. And then the station commander came. I was like, okay, man, this is what we're going to do. Since the money is already registered, we can't give you like the entire amount. We'll just only give you 100 rands. And then he was like, okay, it's fine. And he took that 100 rands. And then as the station commander came to me, he was like, why are you going with this guy? I was like, hey, this guy is my neighbor. So he called me today. So I don't know anything, you know. I didn't want to say that it was my relative. I was like, okay, it's just like my neighbor. He called me and all those things. I was like, okay, fine. And then we left. For that day, I was like, wow, this guy. So another interesting story that happened.
This guy's a lot of stories, my man.
Yes.
Okay.
So we went to this particular tavern.
Yeah.
And then there was a guy who was also a police from my place.
Okay, just before that. So by that time now you are drinking. Were you drinking?
Yeah, of course.
Were you smoking?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, it was happening in that during that period. But I would say that I was not addicted to it.
Oh,
I was
okay.
Not,
All right.
So, okay, and then we went to this tavern. It's like from my place, and after that, that policeman came to the tavern too.
Yeah.
So we're about to leave, and then he saw that guy, and then he stopped the guy, went to him, and he said to him, "You see my guy." Okay, let me just do it the way I was doing it.
Okay.
And I was like, "You see my guy, I don't like the thing that you're doing. That each and every time when you hear that there's something that I'm doing, you'll be following me. You should stop that." And can you imagine? The guy is just doing his work.
Just imagine.
And he told him that, I don't want you to do that thing anymore. And the guy was like, "No, it was not me. I didn't do anything. You know what happened is that," and the guy was like, "You can even call the station commander from where I'm working to ask. I was not part of it."
No.
And the guy was like, "No, I don't want to hear that. I'm telling you that whenever I do something, you shouldn't try even to follow me." I was like, "Yay!" Yeah. So that's how it was with that guy. And then fast forward, I just wanna conclude that.
All right,
so that I'll move
great.
to another
Yeah.
one. So this is how things like changed, and then and how I would say separated from that guy.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So, all right, because you cannot tell the whole story. So,
can't tell
at
the
the end
whole
of the
story.
day, there was like some sort of.
Yes,
you
I'm
know.
coming to that one because I just want to give the summary of how it happened. Because if I try like to explain everything how it happened, there will be
The whole day.
There are a lot of things to say, and
Of course.
that's why I'm just cutting some stuff just to bring a picture of what happened. So and then this other time it was Sunday. I was at church. And I think the beginning of 22nd January 2012. I was at church. Even though I was going ups and down, I would go to church, even though it was not like every Sunday, because there was that thing that I grew up in church. So I knew that sometimes like, man, I need to go to church because even when I was still young, I had the desire. I was like, no, one day I want to be a pastor. When I was young,
Really?
yes, I was like, I want to be a pastor because I think I was inspired by the men of God from this particular church. But sometimes I was like, being a pastor, I'll be very limited because sometimes I will want to drink, but it don't work when I'm a pastor. Like, this pastor thing, let me put it away.
Course.
Yeah. So, okay, I would go to church because I had that thing that, no, man, I have to go. It's been a while without going to church, even if I would just be there. So, it was Sunday.
Yeah.
The guy called me. I was like, where are you? I was like, oh, I'm at church. And then he thought like I was lying. Then he told his friend to call me and ask. And I was like, I'm at church. What's up? And I was like, no, I wanted us to go somewhere.
Okay.
And then at church they were like, okay, they said after the service, please, all males shouldn't leave. And then I'm thinking, it's after church. The guy wants to go with me because another thing that I was enjoying was to drive a car. When when you are young, there's some certain things that makes you to be excited. Yeah. So okay. Then I was thinking, what must I do? I was like, let me go. Immediately the service finished, I ran away. When I left the church, I met the guy, and the guy was like, okay, now we can go. Went to this place, that's a little bit far from the place where I was staying. And then we have this thing, like we call it, I think they call it sebe. So what's happening is like there would be maybe different soccer teams from different places. They meet in one place to play and all those things. So there'll be people selling alcohols and different things, like it's sort of interesting
I think I
place.
remember that. So it's like different teams. Then the team is playing and stuff with cooler boxes. They sit around the thing.
Yeah.
I know.
It,
those South African vibes.
So we went to that place, and then and this one other thing that happened. I thank God for saving me. So, all right, I just remembered when I was in that place. So, I went to those because that football field was not far away from this particular tech shop. So I went to that place I think I went to buy airtime.
Oh, okay.
So I saw this other guy. He bought his own airtime. and then like we used to put the numbers.
Oh
with
yeah, the
changing
numbers.
hair,
Yeah,
that one for numbers.
Yeah. You scratch.
And then I saw the guy. I was just next to the guy. It was like trying to put his own ATM. Then I took out my phone.
Oh no, man!
I was trying to recharge, and the guy saw it, and then I cancelled very fast. I was like, "Hey, what I do?" I was like, and it was old, man. I was like, "Hey, there's nothing that I'm doing. I'm meant to." So you see, like the things that was like starting to the developments that was in my life,
of course,
like towards that side.
Yeah.
You know, that's why you see the influence of the people that
you are with. Exactly.
Then, okay, fine. I left. I left, and then after that, so there's because he had some enemies. So something just happened, and then there was sort of little bit fight. Let me put it like that.
All right, there was a fight.
Yeah,
now you are in the soccer fields, right?
Yes. So we're about to leave, and then that guy, like some people who they knew him. Like I don't know, they had some clash that and then. So they are the one who actually initiated this thing. So they had to just fight a little bit, and I was driving. So and then I had to. Because there were a lot, I had to drive towards that guy so that we would enter into the car and then we run away.
You run away,
and
yeah.
That's what I did, enter into the car.
That's your uncle, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we ran away, they started to follow us. My guy I felt like I was enjoying, I enjoyed what I was doing. So as they were following, and I was also speeding. When they wanted to overtake, I was going to the other side where they wanted to overtake.
Are you for real?
Yeah, man.
You're like Fast and Furious. This is a movie, man.
I felt like I had no problem. I was not thinking of consequences of what will happen if ever maybe an accident can take place. I never thought of that. I was just enjoying my life.
Oh no, man.
So, but then it happened. There was this other corner that I had to turn, and then I failed to control the car, and then I had to. I hit something, and then the car stopped, and the guy went out. Now they were a lot because they called their friends. And then the guy started to run and then entered into the bushes. The people were with, they got into another car. They found a car that was going to the place where they were going. They asked for a lift, and then they entered into the car, and I was left alone. And then I decided to be innocent, and then just take like this other road, walking like towards my place. I left the car. And now he decided to walk like as an innocent guy. Something to me was like, no, enter into the bushes and walk. I entered. Another thing was like, oh my god, there's nothing wrong with it. Go out. And then I went out. The moment I went out, those guys came.
Oh.
Yeah.
You must be joking.
Taxi drivers, my guy. I'm not just talking about
I mean, are you sure this is not some story and stuff?
My guy, this thing happened to me in it was 2012, the beginning of 2012.
Man.
Yes. And then they even wanted to stone me. I remember there was this other guy who was like, no guys, you can't do that. They took me into the taxi. They wanted to put me like into the boot
of the boot of the car. Yeah.
And then I refused. I don't know where did I get that strength. There were a lot forcing me to enter, but I overpowered them. All of them.
Man.
Yes. So
Shut.
And then they realized that they couldn't win, and then they put me inside the car, and then we drove to this other place. Let me not mention the name of the place. Don't. It was like a taxi rank. Though it was at night. It was like even dark.
Yeah.
Because it took some time, so it was even dark. It was a taxi rank. My guy, the beating that I got, those guys disciplined me, and I got to the point where I thought like today I was going to die, and I accepted.
My man.
Yes. I was like, no, when you get to the point where you give up, I was like,
it's over, man. So and now, with the beating and stuff, what were they using? Like pungs, and were they using some iron steel or something like that, or like shambok or anything?
Sticks. Like some I don't know what other things, but what I remembered was a stick. I remember I was like lying down, facing downwards, and then I think this guy came with like a long
shucks, man.
Like, I remember after that, and for a certain period of time, I had like a problem with my back, just a little bit. There was a time where I could feel some pain when I had to maybe carry some
Some
Some heavy stuff.
heavy
But I
weights.
thank God I've recovered. Okay. So
Yeah.
I got the beating. Those guys disciplined me. Man. They disciplined me. And then I was just remembering the words of my mom. Don't go with this guy.
In the midst of the beating.
Of course. Yeah. So and then there was this other guy, and he just came, and I was like, no man, guys, you can't. You can see this is a child, man.
Yeah.
What are you actually doing? You can't do that, or what? So he took me actually to his car, and then he opened the boot. Because now I was being disciplined, I couldn't refuse. He put me into the boot, and then he closed. And the reason for that, he wanted like those guys not to beat me. So actually, it was like just like saving me. And I could hear them asking, "Where's that boy?" And then the guy, since he closed the boot, and then he had to enter like from inside and open like that seat. So it was and then he asked me. He was like, do you know like any number of someone from your home? And then I gave him my mom's number.
Oh.
And then he called her. And she was so angry. And then she called my dad, and then my dad had to call my cousin. I was like, and I was also angry. And then he was like, no, you need to go and get that guy, because if anything can happen to him, no, we will fight, because he was very angry. So the guy, what he did, because you know it was his enemies, he couldn't just enter their territory just like that. He had to call the police, and then he went there with the police, and then that's when I was rescued. And then they took me home. I went home with him, and then I remember my guy even walking was tough,
and I can imagine myself
like man.
I'll be dead by then.
I was disappointed. You know, they beaten me. My face. Oh boy. You know, I remember when I had to walk like in going home. It was very difficult. And then my mom had to take care of me. And I remember she was telling me after when I was fine, she was like, no, my guy, I was scared. Each and every hour I was coming to your room to check if you're still alive. You know, I wish I had a picture just to see myself how I was, but you know, it was bad, man. It was bad. So after that, I realized that, you know, associating myself with this guy is not a good thing.
Your life will be over.
Yes. So okay, and then after that, I started like to recover, and I distanced myself, and the guy was even afraid to come to my house. Yes. And then I started to distance myself. I recovered. I remember people were laughing at me. This other guy was like, yo, man, we heard that you were disciplined. And I was taking it personal that time, because it was, like,
of course.
It was not cool.
I can imagine, man.
Yeah, I remember schools were about to open, and one of my eye like was not okay. I had to put some sunglasses. So I had to go to school, to collect books. You know what happens like each and every one day. Yes,
of course,
collect books just to cover them and all those things. So I went there. So the way it was, so at home they were like, okay, you can take a car and go there. And then I was driving to the to the school, and my teachers.
My man.
So, and my mom was like, there's no way you can stay at home without going to school. So it was better because the schools were like not yet open, and then I would say that I recovered and all those things. So, and then I started like going to since I was going to church, but I was like, let me just go to church every Sunday.
Of course,
you know, I think like this was another way I would say God could use that, just to say, okay, stop this one and go this side. Because to be advised, I was advised. My parents used to tell me, don't do it. So but there was supposed to be like maybe another way to make me like really change my mind and not going back to that place. So and then that's the year I got born again. So actually that's the part of my story when it
Whoa.
comes to that one.
Man,
Yeah,
from being
so-
this guy, okay, now from being this guy who grew up in like a normal home, right, where everything is okay. Your parents do advise you. They tell you, do not do this, do not do this, do not do this. So you don't get or have that opportunity to blame, to say, no, I didn't have a mother, I didn't have a father, I didn't have something like that, right? Because my story and yours are almost similar, but with me, I feel like that's because I lacked maybe, having that a bit of, parents' guidance and stuff, because I didn't really grow up with my mother or my father either. I was just, uncle's boy. We are just doing life the way how we want to and stuff. So with your story, it was still like your personal decisions because of the other external factors around. Shucks, wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and the thing, like, when it comes to because I just wanted to just take also this part as the part of decision making. When
Decision making, yeah.
Yes, when so the thing is, I was being advised that okay, don't do this, don't do that, which it was sort of a great thing, and I'm grateful for that because I have no one to blame. I can't go back to them like, but you guys didn't tell me that. Yeah, because I remember the story of this other guy. It's sort of like he used to bunk school and then even left school, so he was working like very hard, driving truck sand.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay,
he went to this other particular place, and then of course I got the story from the lady from this other lady. So it's like the guy was going to do a delivery to that lady's place. So and then after that, the guy who's driving the truck started to talk to that lady, and the guy was complaining. Was like, you know what, I'm working very hard because I didn't go to school, and then the moment when I was banking school, my mom didn't discipline me, and look, the life that I'm working for like a small boy. They're making a lot of money. I mean, I'm just struggling.
Sure.
So the lady was telling me that, and she was like, no, that guy was old, but now was crying for a discipline that did not take place when he was still young.
Whoa.
So coming to that one, yes, I was being told that I should not do that. Like I think there are things that most especially my mom, because she can talk. I remember sometimes when I'm with my friends, like maybe at home, she would come to us and start to give sort of guidance, most especially on this part. She would be like, guys, there's some certain things that you don't need to do, most especially when with girls, because if you impregnate a girl now,
Exactly.
and
yeah.
you know that even you don't have money, you even ask for money to buy underwear. That's what she used to say. So how are you going to take care of that
take care
child?
of
So
that,
she used to
yeah.
sing that song even when I'm with my friends and all those things, and it really worked. But there's some certain things that I've discovered myself, and I've seen that no, I think we need such thing like need maybe to be implemented, and then needs to be like very serious with it. So because when it comes to decision making, most of the time when there is no a proper guidance, okay, I'll break it in very well. When there is no like, okay, decisions, they can be influenced by your surrounding, which can be your family, which can be your friend, or just the community on its own. So most of the time as children, when we're taking decisions, we don't look like the consequences that will come. We just want to live for that moment. If I know that when I get this thing, I'm going to enjoy for 5-10 minutes, it's okay, I go for that. Like it's like we are not visionary, let me put it like that. We can't see what is ahead of us. We can't say that maybe after 2 or 3 years of taking decision, what will happen with our lives, because the decision that you take today will determine where you go tomorrow. So we don't think of the consequences. As long as I'm enjoying, I don't care, I'm living my life. And then I think these things should start from our families. In families, there must be certain rules which are being set. And they have to be very strict with those rules. Like rules has to be set, and then there must be also rules, and if you break that rule, there must be a punishment for that. And then the family must also have a vision, and then as parents must also be influential to their kids. Like their kids should look at their parents as their role model. Why am I saying that rules needs to be set? For example, sometimes when they tell us things when we're still young, sometimes they don't explain why we are saying that you shouldn't do this. Let me just give an example with this one. For example, let's say they say like, no, you shouldn't come back home after 6. Right. So you shouldn't come back home after 6. And then maybe they don't tell us the reason why we shouldn't. It's because they know that maybe you can be kidnapped, you can be killed. A lot of things can be raped if you're a female.
Sure.
A lot of things can happen. But then because we are curious, we want to know, because things that are happening at night, they're nice, to be honest. Even playing after 6 when it's dark, like it's nice compared playing during the day. Okay, then why did I say that rules need to be set and we need to be strict with it? And then there must be a discipline if we if we're not like following the rules. It's because when you are young, as I mentioned, that you don't think of the consequences of what might happen maybe in 2 or 3 years to come. But what you are thinking of, if you know that they are strict with the rules that they have set, you know that when you break that rule, there will be a beating. So the only thing that you will be afraid of is the beating from the parents, and you are not going to do that thing because you're afraid of the beating. And then when you're not involving yourself in that thing, it will make you to be saved from the main consequences, not the beating, because there are main consequences except for the beating. Because the beating is just trying to align you and all those things. So when you be like, okay, I'm not going to do this because I'm afraid they will beat me, then it will save you. So because I think like a family that does not have rules, anyone just do whatever they want, and there's no one who's going to say anything. And I feel like when it happens like that, it's not like a good thing at all, because when you're still young, you find that there's nothing much that you know. You are, let me say, you are empty at some point.
Of course.
Then you need to be filled with some certain information which will guide you and lead you into a particular place. So then when there is no rules and there is no vision, I want to come to this, the one of vision.
All right.
I think I enjoy it.
All right.
So when there are no rules which are being set, everyone will just do whatever they want. So we need to say, okay, we don't do this at home, because sometimes freedom is good. But if it is too much and it's not being guided, it becomes toxic. So if they give you like too much freedom and then they don't guide you, and that's like most of the time it happens. For example, when we are at home, most especially we go to university, when we are at home, we find that there's freedom, but that freedom is not too much. And then you come to university and then it is too much. That's where you'll see your life taking another direction. So yes, I was just finishing the part of discipline, which is very important. Even the Bible does say that discipline actually it is important. We should discipline, and then it also says that we should train up a child in such a way like that even when they grow up, they're not going to move from what you taught them. So if there is no training, then there will be a big problem. As I was saying, that when you're young, you find that you're empty, you still need to learn new things. Now we come to the part of a vision.
I'm sorry, just to cut you short today. You mentioned a very important part. So training up a child the way so this one goes to all parents. It's for everybody, and not specifically because I think for our generation it goes back to the point that even when you are like in your 20s and even when you are still within your 25s and 30s and stuff, you are still the parent as well, because we see like this normally in our African family structures, that if me as an older brother, I'm like maybe 25 or maybe, and my younger brother is like 15, we find that gap whereby we find a 25-year-old drinks and smoke with a 15-year-old.
Yeah,
Exactly, you know.
yeah.
So it still goes back to that it does not matter what kind, even if you are not a parent and stuff,
course.
but you should be able to discipline a young one, you know, give them the correct kind of love so that they would not, and for fathers and others especially, they have a cigarette in their mouth and be like, do not smoke.
That's impossible.
Yeah,
We
it's
smoke,
impossible.
man.
Yeah. No, that's a valid point. You can continue.
Yeah, because, and also like with that one, it of course not only for parents, even for the next generation, because it might be that you grow up in that family where there were no rules, no vision, and the influence that you get is from outside. But then if you want to change what is happening, then the best thing is to do these things, or even more than this, but this is just the three things which we're going to talk about, and I think that might work, Wabana. So it's not only applying. You may not be a parent at the moment, as you say, that you find that maybe you're older than someone and you need to give them the guidance.
Of course.
So actually it's for everyone. This is for everyone. So all right, and then moving to the part of the vision. So the Bible says that where there is no vision, the people perish. Of course. So what I understand about the vision is that it gives you a direction. For example, let's say your vision is to reach Tau Gallery from here.
Okay.
Right. When someone comes to you and be like, let us go to Triumph Mall, you will say, no, I know my vision is to reach Tau Gallery.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this one, it comes to that point whereby if a vision is being set and we're being trained and being taught from the young age, and we know what is it that we want as a family and where do we want to go. The moment the influence from out, because you cannot run away from the influence from outside. You cannot keep your kids like in your house. You have to go outside the world and meet other people. But then how do you do it in a such a way that you will still maybe having an influence and they will still have like to do what is right. So it comes to that part where the vision is being made clear. Write it down and make it plain on the table, so the one who reads it will run with it. Whenever they get the vision and then they understand it, and then you tell them that this is where we go, so it becomes like your direction, because you know where I'm supposed to go. And then the moment you take the wrong direction, or someone is inviting you to a wrong place, even if maybe you were starting to go with them, but you will think that that's not where I'm supposed to go, and then you change the direction, you go to the place wherever you want to go. So when it comes to the part of influence or the role model, it also plays part here, because if someone tells me to do something that is out of line, and I know that from my family, because combine the three, don't forget, combine the three: the rules, the vision, and then influence, or just being a role model to your kids. If you're a parent.
Come again.
Rules, vision, and then being a role model to yes, or someone who's influential to your
influence. Not the ones on Instagram.
No, we're talking about a good
be a good influencer.
Of course. So then when they know that this is, yes, of course it happened that some may not follow that it happens, but I'm just saying it in a sense that someone later will not blame you as a parent or as a brother and be like, you misled us when you did not give us guidance. So if it is like this, then it will be so difficult. Or when you've been taught something, for example, there are things that my mom didn't like cursing words, whereby you'll be cursing people and all those things. She didn't. If ever she would hear you saying that, sure, it was going to be something else. And whenever I said it, they used to beat me, because we're not learning this from home. So we're getting it from outside, and when we bring it home, we'll be disciplined and stop it. I'm telling you that even today, it is very difficult to say some certain words, and I believe that there's some certain words that I'm not going to say at all.
Of course.
Even the time, even the time, like I was not even born again,
Yeah.
it was tough for me to say this was because there's a certain way that I've been disciplined, and I was like, no, I'm not going to say it. Was not part of my vocabulary. So it was not there at all. So if your children have been trained in that particular way, you know that some of them may not follow it, but they will know that we've been taught, and we've been taught very well. So when you become that person who's influential to them, they look up to you. I don't know, maybe if ever you've had this thing whereby someone will say that, no, at home we don't do this. I don't know if you've ever met someone. No, my parents will not allow me to do this. It's because there's something that they've been taught. So they don't do whatever they found on the street, even if they want to. But at the end of the day, they're not going to, like, there's some, for example, I wanted to put some earrings when we're growing up.
I wanted to have a gold tooth, my friend. I wanted a gold tooth,
So, and then it happened that my friends did that. Then before I could do it, I went to my mom. I said, I want to do it. She was like, talk to your dad. And he said, no problem, my son. If you want to do it, we can do it. But during those old times, we used to do it like they were using sort of a knife. I don't know. Yes. And that's why when you see others, when they grow, there will be like sort of a big hole. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen a hand. And then it was like, no problem. If you're interested, I can do that. I was like, I'm not, because I was thinking of those old men that I have, like, I was like, it means that I'm going to be like this. That's when I was like, I'm not going to do this thing.
It's true. So, it is true. And speaking of that as well, I even still have like some sort of a tattoo here. I don't know if you see. I used to do it with like a pencil.
Oh,
maybe sharpen it and stuff. Yeah. And I used to like draw and stuff. Oh man, childhood.
Yeah. So okay, and then when you check that one, it was not coming from home. It was coming from outside. But because in that area, that specific area, they had an influence in my life, then I couldn't do it.
Sure.
So, which means that if ever we can have an influence in maybe a lot of areas of our children, things can be better. Of course, not every area you're going to have an influence. But let's say we get the major ones, because these ones are important. If we can get the major ones, and then it is I think it is painful that you will be a parent and your kid will be like, oh, I want to be like so and so, who is not you.
And what about you as a parent?
What about you? So it means that
true.
There's nothing that they're actually seeing from you
as a parent.
Oh, so I think we have to get to that point to where they see something from us, and then if they are boys, they'll be like, no, when I grow up, I want to be like my father. If they are girls, when I grow up, I want to be like my mother.
And even the younger siblings as well, when they grow up, they'll be like, I want to be like my older brother. I want to be like my older sister.
Yeah. That's true.
Speaking of that, there's something that I saw this week. I think one of our, I think is a friend, they posted like a picture on WhatsApp, and the picture was like, be the Grotman you always... something like that. Be the Grotman you always wanted someone to be. Something of that sort. Yeah. It's basically like, today is your chance of becoming someone who you were not, or you did not have growing up. Yeah. So it's a beautiful thing.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. So, and then because I'm saying that I was just thinking of this particular thing, and something that I've seen happening. The reason I'm talking about this part of influencing is because there's something that I've noticed which makes I would say generations, when time goes on, to have, for example, have people who were successful, and when the next group comes, they're poor. Just like up and down. I've seen some people to find that during the time, if their parents had shops, they were selling, making a lot of money. When the parent dies, everything just collapses. then it comes to the part of influence and the training that we spoke about. Because I think like in that part, I'm just thinking, I'm not sure, I can be wrong. I think that some of them, you find that the parents maybe did not train their children to be leaders, but they trained them to be workers. And then when they're being trained to be workers, now when it's their time to take over, they can't maintain, and everything just falls apart. And to find that the parents worked very hard to be in that particular area. So and you find that maybe they were thinking that I'm starting this thing, it should be for a generation, it should be generational thing. Then my child will pass it to the next one, just like that, like that. So if you are also having that influence, and then you're training them in that line, they will take off. For example, here you are a doctor, the next thing you will start a surgery, the next thing maybe it goes to a clinic and end up being a hospital. Then if you're not being, let's say, influential, it might be that you'll be the one operating in that area. At the end of the day, when you take off, it will just collapse. How are you,
man? Okay, no, you I think I'm gonna call you again for another, because that on its own, it's a very critical one that I wanted us actually to speak about, but because of time anymore, we don't. But it's generational wealth. Generational wealth, and exactly what you were speaking with. Immediately when you went there, my mind was like, this guy is tackling this topic now. But which is very beautiful, and I truly do appreciate it and stuff. But okay, because of time and stuff, I'm enjoying this, man. And YouTube is limiting us to to make it, a bit shorter and stuff. But in regards to what you have said and everything, like maybe top 3 things that we have to change in our society in order to give the young ones, or in order to have a good childhood, maybe in our societies. What would it be? Maybe the main 3 things, if you can just mention them.
The main 3 things that we need to change. Okay, there's sometimes that you sit down and look and find that it will be difficult for us to deal with it, most especially to the people who maybe are already too much in it. But for the next people who are to come, we can apply what we spoke about, the 3 things, so that the other generation will be better. But still, there's something that we can do. It doesn't mean that there's nothing you can do, because there are people who are in certain things and they think like they can't go out of it, and then they think like maybe it's just the end of them, and then they're thinking like maybe I'll just die in this place. There's always a space for a change, and then one thing that is needed, if you want to, maybe you want sort of an improvement and change, regardless of where you are. Number 1, recognize that you need help.
Beautiful.
Recognize that, because sometimes when you think like I'm fine, you will never be fine. You will be like that for the rest of your life. Number 1, recognize that you need help. Number 2, look for people who will help you. Number 3, associate yourself with right people. I think these ones are important. After recognize, because when you recognize, even the pride goes away. Because the problem is pride. Like when you have pride, there's no way you'll go to ask for help. You'll think like, okay, I'll try it on my own, and then you'll fail. So if you be like, you know what, I need help. It seems like I've gotten myself into a place where I was not supposed to be. And then after that, I'm crying for help. You look for someone, because of course there are some people even from the places where you're coming from, where you can tell that, okay, it seems like this one, they're living better life. You can go to them, ask for help, and then they will help you. And then after that, associate yourself with them, because bad company corrupts a good character. So if you run for help and they're helping you, and then you go back, remember what I said decision making can be influenced by your surrounding, which can be your family, friends, and just your community. So if you associate yourself with the right people who are like-minded, people who are going to the same direction with you, the moment you go out to the world, it will be difficult to be influenced by the world, because the people that you spend time with, they are saying that we are taking this direction. So when you see those things out there, be like, it's okay, I'm not part of it, because I have a group which is going this direction. So no matter how good you can be as a person, if you can stay with the wrong company for a very long period of time, a guy, you'll find yourself changing, and you even ask yourself, is this me or someone else? Yeah, so that's what I think, like the three things can really work.
Wow, beautiful fam. You've heard it all. I mean, this was not me, and it was directly, from the horse's mouth. And I mean, I wish we had more time so that we can like really go into much more dilemmas and stuff. But because this topic is very profound, and I think it becomes the epitome of who we are in growing up, in certain things that we struggle with and how we view the world and all those things. It all has to do with childhood, because that's where everything begins and stuff. This guy is a changed man today. If it was not, for sure he would be like 6 feet underground. He would be behind bars. He would be somewhere else. And that the same thing goes for me as well. I think if I hadn't not made the decisions that I made in my childhood, one of my friends, the guy that we used to do the alcohol and the drugs with and stuff, I heard before I came to Russia and all those things, actually he was hospitalized. He went to a mental hospital and stuff because he was addicted because of drugs and stuff. I don't know whether he's still alive or not, but however, but that's why we are here, guys, to have these candid conversations that really matter, conversation that will build somebody, conversation that will impact you and impact me as well. And I mean, that's why Gen Talks, I mean, we are here to only do three things. We are here to bridge a gap between lifestyle, purpose, and dreams. That's why we are here. Dr. Let me call this. Give this guy his flowers. Dr. Case Tole. Sir, we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for coming on board. And before maybe any parting words that you have for the listeners.
Okay. Well, I just want to thank you for this opportunity, to be sharing my story, my life story. I think it was actually my first time to share in details some of the things that really happened. So, and I'm excited because I think this can make someone to realize that change is possible. It doesn't matter. So that's what I can say, that if there's something that you need to change, do it today before it's too late.
Wow. Beautiful people, you've heard it from again. I mean, before it's too late, you've got to do the change. So there's this beautiful quote, I think by Maxwell, if I'm not mistaken. It says that if you want to change the world, it starts with you. Change yourself first before you can change any other dimensions in the world and stuff. So thank you so much, man, for this beautiful conversation. And I'm really looking forward because guys, this guy is leaving Russia soon, so I don't know, probably we'll get another episode again before he leaves and stuff, because he's going into another world, where he's going to experience some incredible stuff back in South Africa and so forth. So we wish you all the best in your journey, and we hope that your story definitely touches somebody else's life as well, because that's why we tell these stories, to say that, because people see us where we are and they're like, oh wow, you're such angelic and so forth. They never understand that we also have these kinds of stories to tell. So ladies and gentlemen, from above to me, from me to you, it is love. Blessed Sia, proudly, spontaneously sponsored by God. And this is Gen Talks Diaries with Blessed Sia. Thank you so much. Thank you.